Hello YouTuber X3 here, back with another kicking action figure review. Today we have another Power Ranger figure. It is the Power Rangers Megaforce Armored Robo Knight Power Ranger figure from Bandai America. Yeah, it's actually a really cool figure. I've already taken him out and messed with him. I just thought I'd show you guys the box and stuff. Cool story behind him. My buddy Drew and I were looking for figures and stuff because we obviously collect action figures. And we went into Kmart and they had every single Ranger from this line. They had Robo Knight, White and Red Mighty Morphin, and Red and Blue Megaforce. Every single one. They had only one of each except Blue Megaforce, which they had two of. But Drew and I were like, holy crap, these are so cool. I mean, I've seen them online and stuff, but I very rarely see them in stores, and when I do, it's just the Megaforces. I never see the Mighty Morphin, and I've never seen a Robo Knight. So I got the Robo Knight, and he got the White Ranger, because White Ranger from Mighty Morphin was his favorite. And we went back to his place, and we played with him like kids. We put all their armor on and posed them and figured them all out and got the card app and all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah, let me show you the box here. It's pretty cool. You know, he's got Robo Knight from the Showdown at the bottom. Says he comes with a card. There he is on the inside and all his armor and stuff. Power Rangers Megaforce up top. On the side, you get a picture of him with all his armor on and stuff. Card app. Picture of him without the armor and other card game stuff you can get. And we saw every single one of them. And my buddy Drew says he needs to go back and get the red Mighty Morphin now, and I need to go back and get the red Megaforce because they are really cool figures. And there he is with all his stuff up top, and apparently make a shield too, which we did. Right stuff. But yeah, really cool. Well, let's get him out of box again. So here's our armored Robo Knight out of packaging, and obviously without his armor on. I've never seen him without his armor on, and I very much doubt he can take it off. I've only seen one episode with him in Megaforce, and he just seems like this robot who doesn't really care, and he's really cool. And in Japan he's different, because I've seen the movies for whatever the Megaforce equivalent there is. I've seen the movies, I saw the movie that transitioned into Gokaiger and stuff. But yeah, I've never seen him without his armor, and I do very much doubt it comes off. But I haven't seen much of either of those shows, so maybe it does, but I doubt it. Here's my Robo Knight with his weapons. He is with his sword, which he holds just fine. It's just kind of like this silver gray. Really cool detail, not the best paint apps though, but it does have this cool red blade. And then there's the blaster, which is just gray and kind of just a folded up version of the sword, I suppose. And he holds it just fine, but also it has a peg, and you could peg it to either side of his belt. That side, or the side that makes a little more sense, this side. So yeah, you can have his blaster pegged to him, which is really cool. Another cool accessory this figure has is his morpher, I think. I think it's his morpher. And it's gold, looks kind of like a Wild Force morpher. Looks like the lion's head. And it has a peg also, so it can peg into either side of his belt. I don't know if it's supposed to face that way or what. But he also has interchangeable hands. As you can see, he has these open palm hands. Really cool. And just the left one has a peg in it, and you can take the morpher, stick it in the peg, and he holds it like that. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, he'll hold the morpher with the peg, which I think is just, you know, the coolest thing. And then here's the card it came with. My buddy and I were actually talking about starting, maybe just getting the set of the card game, the basic set, since it's pretty cheap. It's like $10 and two people can play. And well, we each already have one card now, and if we're probably gonna get more of the figures and stuff, we'll get more. So but yeah, of course I came with the Robo Knight card, and it of course came with a White Ranger. So well, I think he came with a White Ranger. I don't know if I even saw his card, but yeah, kind of cool. And of course this guy, as I forgot to mention, also comes with instructions. Now before I put the armor on, I'm gonna show you about some detail and paint, and I'm going to do, well, that again after I put the armor on. And of course articulation, which I'm going to show you now because the armor is going to cover up a lot of points, and also I'll be messing around with him, and I don't want armor to fall off while I'm doing it, because some of the armor will fall off while you're articulating. Really only the shoulder pads, though. The shoulder pads are really the only thing, but I'll explain that when I get to them. So yeah, articulation, side to side head, up and down a tiny bit. And up and down in the arms, forward and back. You got a bicep, rotation, elbow bend, and you got this rotation at the forearm, and it actually pops out, like it's removable for putting armor on. Of course, he doesn't need it, but other rangers do, like the ones that have the bicep bands. You have to pop that off, slip them on. But him, you just pop the hand off, and hands pop off real easily. And they have like the same joint figure arts do. You just, the up and down kind of like that, and you can turn them and move that joint all around. Really nice. And of course, you got a lot of rotation right there. As you can see, you got a kind of up and down, a little side to side in this joint, and then a lot of movement there at the waist. A good bit of movement. You got forward and back and in and out, and just all kinds of ball movement in the legs. You got a swivel right here, and that weird muscle. You got a knee bend. You got rotation here above the boot. And up and down on the foot. No ankle pivot. This figure desperately needs an ankle pivot, though. I mean, this is a really cool figure. And as for detail and paint, this head looks spectacular. The detail and paint are really clean on it. And they definitely tried hard with that. And instead of just giving him like a black body, I'm glad they gave him this symbol and a little silver there. Of course, to make the figure totally accurate, I suppose they'd have to give him like silver arms for the armor. When you put the armor on, you'll want to see the silver arms, but leave the hands black. Oh, just like it has on the box, actually. You can see he's got the silver arms on the box, the black hands. Just what I was thinking. So, yeah, and you've got this belt, and which doesn't articulate, but it's a separate piece. That looks good. He's got the gold cuffs, detail on the hands. He's a little overly muscular, but yeah, that's one gripe I kind of have about this line. The Rangers are really overly muscular, but the best part about the Robo Knight is once you put all his armor on, you can't tell that he's overly muscular because he's covered up in all this armor. So he actually looks the most accurate out of any Ranger in the entire line, which is pretty cool, I think, that he's the most accurate one. And also the White Ranger looks better than the Mighty Morphin Red and the other Megaforce Rangers. With all his armor and stuff on, he looks a little more proportionate too. Because, I mean, this guy and the White Ranger are definitely the best looking figs of the series. So I'm glad my buddy and I picked them up, because, I mean, they're really cool. But, yeah, he's got not much on the back. Got a lot of screws and stuff, so the detail's not the best on the back. But the front, where he's obviously going to be facing when you display him, looks spectacular. So now let's get that armor on. Now before I show you with his armor on though, I just wanted to go ahead and show his shield mode, which I don't know if it exists in the show or not. I've already said I really actually have no idea. Once again, I've seen one episode of this guy in Megaforce and just the movie from the Japanese Sentai, so. But yeah, so you use his front breastplate, his arm cuffs, shoulder pads, and leg armor, and you connect it all like so. Pretty simple. And you stick his gun in a plug in the back of the chest plate, and you can just hold it up like that. So it's pretty cool. And I've actually made there's lots of holes and pegs and stuff, and I've actually made some of my own configurations. I made a big cannon once. So that was pretty awesome, I have to say. But yeah, now I'll actually show this armor on his body. Finally, the part of the review I've been waiting for. Here's our Robo Knight with all of his armor on, and he looks pretty cool. I mean, he looks really accurate to the show, which, you know, is always great to see. I mean, the armor looks good. The paint apps are alright and stuff, but yeah, I mean, this is supposed to be a fun figure, not a big adult collectible thing. I mean, obviously, I think they had adult collectors a little in mind when they made this, but at the same time, it's obviously also mainly for kids. So, yeah, good look at his armor. Got his chest plate with the green and the gold and the silver and the black. And I put his morpher and gun with him. He's got his big leg braces, and his cufflinks there. And none of the articulation is hindered except a little in the arms. The elbows can't bend as far, and you can't really bring the arms up too far or the shoulder pads will pop off. But that's all that's really changed articulation-wise. There's enough room in the torso here for you to still move that joint, you see? It's just really the arms that are the only things that get hindered with this guy. I mean, he's not going to be the best for dynamic posing. I have to say, I've gotten him into some really cool vanilla poses, like just standing around posing with his weapons and stuff, but not like dynamic action poses. I can only get him in like 1 or 2 of those. If you like this figure line and want one that can have a good dynamic action pose, I suggest all the other ones, because we got the White Ranger and a lot of cool action poses. Just this guy has so much armor, there's not enough room for dynamic action poses and stuff. I said dynamic action poses a lot. I must like that phrase. But, I mean, yeah, he's still really cool, though. I mean, you can't deny that, right? He's a pretty tight figure. He's just a little hindered in the arms and stuff. But, yeah, I think he makes up maybe for his lack of available articulation with the fact that he's the most accurate looking one in the entire bunch, since his armor covers up his way oversized muscles and the detail and stuff and the stuff he comes with. I mean, he comes with weapons and interchangeable hands and a morpher. How many Rangers, how many American figures in general come with that kind of stuff now? I mean, come on. But yeah, so now that you see him with the armor, let's do some size comparisons. Now here he is with some Japanese figures. He's for the SH Figure Arts line figures. Here we have the SH Figure Arts Mighty Morphin Red. And obviously he's way too big to interact with this Mighty Morphin Red. And even the Power Rangers Samurai, Power Rangers Super Samurai, or Shinkenger, Red Samurai Ranger, or Shinken Red. I think he's a Baka Red or something. I don't remember exactly what the Mighty Morphin Red is called, because I have the American release with the American box and stuff. And I haven't seen that Sentai. I've seen some of this Sentai, but not this Sentai. But, yeah, he's way too big for your figure arts. I mean, he's not going to scale well with them. If you want one that scales well with your figure arts and can also do dynamic poses and comes with a lot of cool stuff, I recommend the figure arts version of him, but I'm also pretty sure it's an exclusive and will probably cost you a pretty penny. But, yeah, bottom line is, he doesn't scale up well with these guys. Now, here's Robo Knight with some older American Power Ranger figures with the use of Red Ranger Mystic Force, and, you know, once again, he's too big, and he's too big for this Crimson Sailtrax from the Power Ranger Dino Thunder line as well. So he's not scaling up well with other figures so far, and he's obviously not going to scale up well with the 3 3/4 inch Power Ranger figures. I'm not even going to get out my 3 3/4 inch Decker and put him with this guy, because he's not going to fit in scale. It's not going to happen. And I don't even feel like I need to get out my Kamen Riders, because obviously he's not going to scale up well with your SH Figure Arts Kamen Rider figures either. There's my Decade. I could go get my Ryuki, my Kuga. He wouldn't fit in scale with them. He's not in scale with these figures. But I can guarantee you that he is in scale with the other figures from his armored line. I know for a fact he scales up well with the White Ranger, because my buddy has the White Ranger and we have had them side to side. He does scale up well with the White Ranger, and I'm sure that means he scales up well with the rest of this line too. So he scales up well with his own line, and when you get down to it, that's the most important thing. I'm sorry I don't have another figure from the line to show you, but I know for a fact he scales up well with the other line. I have seen it. He does scale up. He looks great with them. Trust me. I did notice, however, that this Robo Knight may scale up well with some of your like NECA figures, like Isaac Clarke, maybe some Predators, Prometheus figure or something. But at the same time, you know, they're just so far apart in genre. I mean, you got Toku and, you know, horror video game. And it's just the detail and stuff. You know, nothing's really going to beat NECA for me ever. I mean, that's fantastic stuff right there. So it's I'm just saying, if scaling is your big issue, there are types of figures he'll scale up well with. Just right now, Power Rangers other than the ones in his own line, he's not going to go with. But yeah, so my final thoughts on the Power Rangers Megaforce 20th Anniversary Armored Robo Knight Power Ranger figure. This guy's so tight. I mean, I love him so much. Look at him. He looks good in his armor. He looks pretty cool out of his armor. The armor goes on easily enough. And then the shield's not hard to put together. He comes with 2 weapons, his sword, his gun. I mean, how often do you see guns on children's television anymore? Never. Comes with a card for the game, or just, you know, a collection. Interchangeable freaking hands. He's got good articulation, good detail in paint. The scaling, I mean, he scales up well with his main line, so I guess I can't really take off for scaling since he scales up with the figures he's supposed to. But still, you know, I wish that he scaled up well with his other stuff. But, I mean, with the size and everything, 15, 16 bucks, come on, you get what you're paying for with this guy. He's really, really cool. He even comes with a morpher. You can't say that about a lot of things. You can hold it in either his holding hand, even his open hand with the peg. I mean, this is an impressive figure. I really think he is. So, I gotta give him 4 out of 5 stars. He's not a perfect figure, but he's really cool, and I dig him. I highly recommend him to Toku fans everywhere. I really do. If you love Power Rangers, you grew up with Power Rangers, if you watch Power Rangers now, if you're a collector, a kid who just likes to have fun, I'm both. I don't know if I'd call myself a kid, but I like to have fun. I mean, he's a great figure to have. I highly recommend the White Ranger as well. That's also a really cool figure. Might pick it up myself. The only reason I probably haven't is because I'm going to get the figure art. So I don't really need that one. But the figure art's going to be like 40 bucks and up. And the most you'll probably see this guy for at retail is probably like 20. So I say, these guys are really cool. I really like this line. I might go back and get the Megaforce Red and Blue eventually. I've seen him at that came out multiple times, but I'd only seen this guy once, so I snagged him. And, yeah, so that's really it for this review. So, 4 out of 5, highly recommended figure. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. If you have a review to this figure, feel free to make it a, you know, video response. I'd love to see what you think of this figure, or you could just tell me in the comments what you think of this figure. Either way, you know, seems pretty cool to me. So, yeah, I love this guy. 4 out of 5 stars. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all so much for viewing and supporting, and I'll see you all later.